Let us talk about the survivors of suicide. What is life? In short, the absence of death. What is death? The absence of life. The only and most important quest from the day we are born to the day you will die is survival. You need attachment, you need food, you have emotions, you have money, you have shelter, you have reputation. You have gadgets, you have cars, you have vehicles, you have fancy clothes, you have vacations. All that I have described is either survival or glorification of survival. Moving from topmost needs of attachment to bottommost needs of glorification of survival. It's survival and the meaning that you give to why you should and you are here. That is pretty much so occupying for us that we don't often get a chance to think about the beautiful and bare truth of death. But what happens that sometimes the zest for survival becomes so dim that people are forced to take their own life. Why suicide? If every action has a hidden motivation behind it, what would be the motivation to end the motivation of everything? Hi, I'm Chumki Bose, a senior psychologist at Mindtribe. In this podcast, I'm going to deal with the survivors of suicide, a group of people who are left devastated, shocked about the meanings of their own lives. It feels like the reality suddenly falls down to a new reality and a new understanding of life that redefines everything you knew about the person who commits suicide, sometimes very close. The trauma and grief that follows afterward is immense and life-altering. Some of the overwhelming emotions that they go through are grief, that is described in psychology as the intense emotional and physical reaction that an individual experiences following the death of a loved one. Not only is grief characterized by deep sadness, but also by an intense yearning to be with that person again. It is well known that the death of a loved one is believed to be the most powerful stressor in everyday life, often causing significant distress to all those closely connected to the deceased. Bereaved individuals are more at risk of a serious mental health problem such as depression, substance abuse, and increased risk of suicide. According to Mayo Clinic, a loved one's suicide can trigger intense emotions, for example, shock. Disbelief and emotional numbness might set in. You might think that your loved one's suicide couldn't possibly be real. Anger. You might be angry with your loved one for abandoning you or leaving you with a legacy of grief, or angry with yourself or others for missing clues about suicidal intentions. Guilt. You might replay what if and if only scenarios in your mind, blaming yourself for your loved one's death. Despair. You might be gripped by sadness, loneliness, or helplessness. You might have a physical collapse or even consider suicide yourself. Confusion. Many people try to make some sense out of the death or try to understand why their loved one took his or her life. But you will likely always have some unanswered questions. Feelings of rejection. You might wonder why your relationship wasn't enough to keep your loved one from dying by suicide. Trauma. Emotional and psychological trauma as a result of extraordinarily stressful events that shatter your sense of security, making you feel helpless in a dangerous world. When a parent commits suicide, children are more likely to die by suicide themselves, and this increases their risk of developing a range of major psychiatric disorders. According to a study led by Johns Hopkins Children's Center that is believed to be the largest one to date on the subject, how and when the parent died strongly influenced their child's risk, the researchers report. And because the findings show that parental suicide affects children and teens more profoundly than young adults, it is likely that environmental and developmental factors as well as genetic ones are at work in the next generation risk. The scientists say those who lost a parent to suicide as children or teens were 3 times more likely to commit suicide than children and teenagers with living parents. Additionally, when parents, especially of young and adolescent children, commit suicide, the child loses the map of the world. Although the child has one of the parents with them, the death leads to unanswered questions about life, the understanding, and then the new understanding of the world. Moreover, children who are left with one parent who survived the trauma are made to take a role of a caregiver to the grieving parent and often replace the position of a dead spouse. This kind of role reversal and taking emotional responsibility of the parent in place of having someone to take responsibility of the child's emotions leads to addiction, codependency, personality disorders, low self-esteem, anxiety disorders, and depression. When a child commits suicide, the parent suffers from grief, trauma, shock, disbelief, and guilt. The suicide of a child can raise painful questions, doubts, and fear. You may question why your love was not enough to save your child and may fear that others will judge you to be an unfit parent. Both questions may raise strong feelings of failures. Many bereaved parents wrestle with these feelings, but in time to come to a place where they understand their child made the choice to end their life. It is not uncommon for newly bereaved parents to suffer from depression, anxiety, and express thoughts of committing suicide themselves. When a spouse or partner commits suicide, the survivor has to suffer from stigma, shame, and isolation. Suicide can isolate surviving spouse from their community and even from other family members. There's still a powerful stigma attached to mental illness, a factor in most suicide, and many religions specifically condemn the act as a sin. So survivors may understandably be reluctant to acknowledge or disclose the circumstances of such a death. Family differences over how to publicly discuss the death can make it difficult even for survivors who want to speak openly to feel comfortable doing so. The decision to keep the suicide a secret from outsiders, children, or selected relatives can lead to isolation, confusion, and shame that may last for years or even generations. In addition, if relatives blame one another or the partner, thinking perhaps that particular actions or a failure to act may have contributed to the events, that can greatly undermine a family's ability to provide mutual support. It is also not uncommon for a spouse or a partner to consider suicide or have suicidal thoughts after a long period of depression and grief. More on the factors, reasons, and disorders that lead to suicide in my next podcast. Thank you.